welcome to What the FMCG, the podcast from Field Assist, where we look beyond the designations of the people driving the success of some of the biggest brands in the consumer industry.
Hi everyone, we are back with a new episode of What the FMCG, a podcast series by Field Assist, where we aim to capture stories, experiences, and anecdotes from the senior leaders in the industry.
Today we are delighted to have with us Mr. Saurabh Gupta, the CIO of SAR Group, the makers of LiveGuard, LivePure, and electric scooters. With over 20 years of experience in IT industry, Saurabh is a certified digital transformation leader and an expert in IT business strategy and consulting. Welcome, Saurabh, to the podcast.
Thanks, Varun and Chitransh, for first having me here.
When it comes to IT strategy and the entire landscape of IT strategy with respect to organization, so I've seen or I've heard from people that digital transformation to isolation mein ho jata hai. But what is your view in it? From a perspective of people, process, and if we see digital transformation, how important or relevant they are? Are they even important for the entire organization strategy standpoint?
Chitransh, I would say that technology plays 10 to 15% role in any transformation, right? 85% is people, the change management, and the mindset that is there, right? There are many a times I've seen a software product working very well in certain organization, completely failing in another organization. So any digital transformation you see, it is not the technology infusion. It has to do a proper change management, taking people along, and in the end, you are doing it for people in a way, either for your consumers, either for your distributors or your in-house employees. Most of the technology that you implement is for the people. And if they are not onboarded, that the technology add value in their lives, I think that is not a transformation. Any point of time, the responsibility of transformation is left on IT. I think those projects are unsuccessful, are meant to bound to fail, right? So if the ownership, unless until there is the ownership is with business, ownership is with the organization leadership, these projects does not work.
Right, I think seeing technology or IT team as enablers rather than the people leading is the difference.
Yeah.
In this series as well, we had Mr. Rajan Surendran, the global CIO of Wipro with us, and he shared a crisis situation. I think every IT leader faces somewhere in his journey, wherein probably 48 hours he would not sleep, team could not sleep, and probably they had to deliver something and eventually hack through it. So what has been your crisis situation?
We had a public cloud provider opening shop in India. So they were outside India and then they opened shop in India. They deployed their data center in India and we were one of their early customers. So we told them that yes, we will help you in testing if there's a problem. We had huge infrastructure deployed in their India data center. One night around 8 o'clock, we realized that all of our VMs disappeared. Right, we logged into panel, there were no VMs, no service, nothing working. And then we called their account manager. That person took the India head online, that where those VMs are. Physically, there was no virtual machine available for us. That call went in for 72 hours. They looped in their Japan data center, their Singapore data center. The focus was, where are those VMs? Then they found those VMs had, because it was a new data center, there was an error, they by mistake it got moved somewhere else. And then we started, how do we restore it?
Right, restore it.
Few TBs of data moving from one zone to another zone.
Correct.
It takes 2-3 days. Customers are crying. It was a huge panic situation for us. And then we started thinking, their solution architects came online, their entire tech team, their DC team, local DC team came online. We started working on 3 to 4 solutions. This can be one solution, because in the end, physically the data had to move to our zone, India zone, right? Or we launch it from somewhere else, things like that. And though you have a backup, right? Backup is maybe 3 to 4 days old. One way is you start restoring it. Your 3-day, 4-day transactions are entirely gone. You can't reach out to all the customers there and ask them that this is what has happened. It actually is a quite embarrassing situation for us. But I think we were able to recover it in 72 hours. So once you go through some of these crises where you don't have anything and you realize, okay, fine, things happen.
World is not ending.
And then you bring it back.
I can imagine it's sounding scary, but I think coming out through it, as you said,
Yeah.
coming
that-
out through it and actually pulling it off gives a lot of confidence. Obviously, it's learning in certain form,
Sure.
how we have to go about it, but a lot of confidence that yes, it can be dealt it in certain ways.
Sure.
मैं अपनी टीम से भी बात कर रहा था तो दे completed one of the enterprise execution and they said ये most difficult है आज तक का. मैं कहा ये नई definition है difficult की हमारे लिए.
That keeps changing.
That keeps changing.
Every year you may have that most difficult project thing or a most critical situation where people are fighting or systems are not working, vendors are not, something else will come up, but the bar will keep getting raised.
But basic tenets to probably approach the situation remains the same.
Yes.
Remain calm and probably figure out by first principles how to go about it.
Sure.
I think in these situations, once you are being transparent to a larger audience,
Ji.
if the situation is there, I think that also helps.
That
was something Rajan also brought in table के छुपा के क्या कर लेंगे?
Correct. Very true. That's true.
You have been part of a lot of big organizations where they have experienced significant growth or significant jump with respect to the trajectory they were on. So what, according to you, is sort of a leading indicators or the matrices that tells us that whether this business model will thrive or it needs a deep level reinvention?
So Varun, change is inevitable in any organization, right? Reinvention is a choice. And when to do that reinvention, I think that is the critical decision which people have to make, right? How I evaluate it, number one, is the customer behavior changing. If the customer behavior is changing or if there is a critical policy change, you need reinvention. Maybe they had to spend earlier X earlier, now they started spending X by 2. You had a big policy decision like demonetization and suddenly everybody had to reinvent because there was no cash, there was no check, right? Overnight. So a lot of reinvention happened at that time. Maybe because the customer want behavior change and also the policy change, right? The second indicator I look at it as, is there a sustained pressure on business, right? If there is a sustained pressure on business in terms of revenue, I think there's a reinvention required. Businesses go through ups and downs, right? Every year you may have certain AOP where you are not meeting the AOP. Next year, one particular season may go bad too. But if it is sustained phenomena, I think there is a reinvention that needs to happen in the business. Third, if IT has become just to keep the lights on or keep the things running, or is it something that they are able to add significant value? If IT or any digital active transformation is digital tool, digital software is not able to add value, is not able to move the things needle in a significant way, I think it again you need to look at reinvention. So I think these are the three parameters I primarily look at reinvention, where you need to look at a business model. So for example, in one of our business, Lipure, if you look at RO water purifiers, the main cost, there are two costs involved. One is you buy a water purifier and second is the maintenance. Right. So Lipure came up with two very unique model and reinvented the industry. One, by starting water as a service. So you, rather than buying a water purifier, you pay for water you drink, right? With IoT and technology stack, you can now get a water purifier and you don't pay for maintenance, right? And similarly, embedded services. So now Lipper also provide embedded service where you buy a water purifier, you don't have to worry about it. So both models are available, and that's the kind of reinvention you require when the customer behavior is changing. Now you have guys who are living in hostels, they are changing their places frequently. They don't want to buy a water purifier, right? Same thing has happened with furniture industry. You have brands providing your sofa sets, beds every now and then, whenever you change. So I think that's where the reinvention comes in.
I think now that you have shared these insights, I see the whole EV industry evolving out of nowhere is also, I think, coming from this, from policy, sustainability, consumer behavior.
Very true, Varun.
Let's go into a different space now.
Sure.
So you have had such a long leadership career, and you may have got an opportunity to give opportunity to people from when they were no one to people who were probably losing out or probably did not have confidence. So I want to ask, what according to you is the most important thing in people to thrive? Is it discipline or is it hunger?
So I think to thrive, you need both discipline and a hunger. But if you give me a choice, it is hunger. Discipline you can still inculcate based on certain rules, regulation, right? So for example, somebody comes late, you put up a rule of attendance, and then the guy will start coming on time, right?
Right.
So there are ways of inculcating discipline. But hunger is, I think, something which takes the person to the next level, right? To make it simple. So hunger may get you at a table, discipline will keep you there. So if you want to get to the table, you need to be hungry. I've seen average people who had that hungry mindset that I have to do something. They always beat the smart folks without that mindset who do not want to achieve something. If you give me given a choice, I'll get a hungry guy and figure out ways to discipline him rather than get only a disciplined guy without hunger and try to create hunger in him.
Creating hunger seems like a very big problem because that is the core of the person.
That is the core of anything. That is.
So what we have also seen in our, I would say, experiences, tier 2 people or people coming from tier 2 colleges as well, they may have maybe little less exposure, little less experience, or in certain ways maybe aptitude. But the hunger part, they may not speak very good English, but they are very hungry these days to do something in life, and the hunger trumps everything else in our case. So this is something that we have experienced.
Sure. That's true. That's very true.
So Saurabh, आपके career में, apart from I'll say roles like CIO, in between there has been an entrepreneur stint as well.
Sure.
So I think पहला सवाल तो यही है, how difficult that decision was to make that shift from a routine job to an entrepreneur stint.
So I'll tell you the secret. So you see, हम लोग कितना भी चेयर पे बैठ जाएं, we always have a safety net, right? When I sign a contract as a CIO, there is a legal head, his head is also on the line.
Right.
Then there is a CFO, his neck on the line. So when you take a decision even now, there are multiple people involved. Accountability may lie on me, but yes, there are people supporting it, right? So I was lucky at that time that financially I was slightly good. And then I decided that I want to feel raw accountability. कि मैंने decision लेना है, and if it goes wrong, I am the person who will face the music. Let me do that. So that's when I got into entrepreneurship, and I had full support from my family at that time. I think that was very critical. That helped me in taking that decision. At the end of it, I think it made me a better person. I started looking at things from a very different lens, not purely from IT, but from a business. Whether it makes sense for us to do it, whether it will save us few pennies, it will not save, whether it is beneficial, right? So before that, I think the way I used to look at things is more of ठीक है यार, ये मेरा काम है, agreement है तो legal देखेगा,
right?
Cash flow देखना है, finance देखेगा. Why should I bother about it? But once you get into an entrepreneurship, you realize there are a whole lot of things that you need to be worried about. It's not just your decision. You need to take care of a lot of other things, and a lot of people depend on some of those decisions which may impact them.
Everything is not clear.
Yeah.
So from this experience, like 3 key learnings which you would like to call out for our audience also.
3 learning. पहला learning है, सब कुछ urgent है till the time it is payment time. So the moment we used to go out to my customer will call us day, night and all, but everything is urgent. But the moment it is like payment देना है, कोई बात नहीं, बाद में कर लेना. I think that is one. Second, I'll say, I think you learn accountability. I think that accountability is at a different level. The accountability that we have in organization is something which is a safety net. Say very safe. We may have to listen to board, we may have to listen to CEO, but in the end, fine. It is their accountability, not ours at any chair, right? So accountability is something big learning. Third is, I think I realized customer was the king. Till such time when you are in IT, when I was playing a role of head IT and all, you don't focus much, right? ठीक है, ये सॉफ्टवेयर में ये बटन यहाँ नहीं लग सकता तो नहीं लग सकता, कर लो जो करना है, right? I had that kind of an attitude. Once you start doing your own business, you realize कि यार वो बटन वहाँ लगाना ही है, नहीं तो पैसा आएगा नहीं, right? So the mindset change happens. See, customer is the king.
Thank you so much, Saurabh. I think will help us a lot. The audiences also, it will give a lot of perspective. But let's change the vibe a bit and move on to rapid fire. Very easy questions, very quick answers. I'll go first. If you weren't in technology, which space you would be in?
I would definitely be a game tester.
Tell us that one part of your job that gives you most joy.
11 o'clock tea with my team members.
The last time you changed your mind on something important?
When I realized mute is more reliable than reply all.
Now finally my turn. One thing about you that your LinkedIn profile does not reveal.
Oh, I create memes and some of them are quite viral.
I'm one of the active followers. Your secret hack for hiring the right people.
Make the candidate uncomfortable. I think when people are uncomfortable, that's their true nature. That's when it comes out.
Your hidden talent.
Hidden talent. So I'm a Xbox gamer. I think I still play Xbox whenever I get time. Fortnite, GTA, Roblox, whatever it comes.
Best career advice in 5 words or less.
Keep learning, stay relevant.
If you were to step back from technology tomorrow, how would you want people to remember Saurabh Gupta?
I think I want people to remember that he was available when they had a tough day. I was there to listen to them.
Interesting. So thank you, Saurabh. I think it was pleasure to hear your answers in rapid fire and in the entire podcast. I think the entire fundamental of culture, accountability, etc. is a valuable insight for our audience. And I personally loved it a lot interacting with you in this series. So thank you coming on board for this.
Thank you.